Hi, I'm back again. We're reading our Jesus Storybook Bible. And this time we are going to read about how Jesus goes out to the desert and he has a hard time with a snake. So let's go. Now you remember last time he was baptized by John, and then it says, after Jesus was baptized, he went straight out into the desert. That seems like a rather odd place to go because, as you know, deserts are very hot and there isn't any food or water or places to stay. But Jesus needed to get away by himself and be somewhere quiet and alone. He needed to be with his heavenly Father to get ready for his new life. In the desert, Jesus thought about the secret rescue plan he had made with God. Before the foundation of the world, they both knew what would have to happen. To rescue God's children, Jesus would have to die. There was no other way. It was the main reason he had come. Now, that old enemy, the one who had spoken through the snake to Adam and Eve, back in the garden, remember? He didn't want Jesus to rescue God's people, so he lied to Jesus. And here he is, that snake. What's he going to say? Are you really God's son? He whispered. Poor you. God must not love you. You don't need to die. Do it your way. Or do it my way. Yes and no. Jesus said, you're a liar. I will do what God says. And from that moment on, nothing would ever be the same. Jesus wasn't like Adam. Jesus was a new kind of man. He would not believe the terrible lie that the enemy had spoken. Jesus knew God loved him, and he would trust God no matter what. It was just as God had promised to Adam and Eve all those years before. Jesus had come to do battle against the snake's work. He would get rid of the sin and the darkness and the tears, and he would suffer, but he would win. Yes. So he leaves the desert and then he goes to the Sea of Galilee. He goes to this big lake and he sets about with the great rescue. He's going to get God's people back. But first he needed to find some helpers and friends. He had a lot to do. He would need some people to help him. Who would make good helpers, do you think? Clever people? Rich people? Strong, important people? Well, some people might think so. But I'm sure by now you don't need me to tell you that they'd be wrong. God can use anyone. God uses people, and they don't have to know a lot of things, and they don't have to own a lot of things. They just have to need God a lot. One day, Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee when he saw some brothers mending their nets. See, there they are. They're fixing their nets, and they're poor fishermen. Jesus calls to them, let's go. Peter, Andrew, James, and John looked up at this man on the shore, and they couldn't explain it. Their boats needed to be put away. Their nets needed mending. Fish are still wriggling on the shore. But something about this stranger made them just drop their nets and their fish, leave their boats and everything, and follow him. And there they are. They dropped everything. Look at it. They're going to follow Jesus. What, are they crazy? This God-man was like no one they had ever met. When they looked at Jesus, their hearts filled up with a wonderful, forever sort of happiness inside. And it was like they were running free in an open field. Jesus asked 12 men to be his helpers. Peter, Andrew, James, John, Matthew, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, another James, Simon, Thaddeus, and Judas. Meeting Jesus would change all of them forever. The end. See you tomorrow.